Kev, today is day one at Fossett's training facility. How pleased are you to have made the move?
Yeah, delighted. We've been using the pitches for a little while now, but to get the players in and into our own home, if you want, is a huge step for us. A lot of work's gone into it by the people here, and so we're grateful to them for getting it done. Still a few bits to be done, of course, but yeah, delighted. And you see around it, it's really going to help us.
I mean, in terms of on-pitch action, we're down to the final 5 games of the regular season. And how much, as a coach, do you relish these sort of run-ins at the end of the season?
Yeah, listen, you'd much rather be involved in chasing for something than season fizzling out, if you want. So pleased to be looking for the big games, and with big crowds in, and a certain amount of something, a little edge to the games, of course, which is important. And yeah, we want to keep pushing, as hard as we can, and get as high up the league as possible.
You touched on the sort of big crowds that have been coming in, and you've also spoken about how impactful that North Bank has been against Oldham, and then we're going to have it back again against Solihull Moors. How much are you looking forward to playing in front of them again and the rest of the fans at Roots Hall?
Massively. I think I hadn't seen it from my playing days. It was never there, but I think the acoustics of it as well, and they'll play a huge part for us at home. And with the fans behind us and making it, somewhat hostile if they can, then that's good. But a massive part, because the players fed off that against Oldham, I have to say, and we'll need everyone pulling together, and one big effort, and I'm sure that will happen Saturday.
And then looking at Saturday's opposition, what do you expect from Solihull Moors?
Yeah, they've watched their game against Forest Green, and not much in it at all. And I know they haven't been on a brilliant run, but Matt's gone in to change a lot there, and that takes time sometimes. When things have new manager, etc. And I'm sure they'll be putting the building blocks for the future in, and a team that's going to be tough to beat, of course. But they've got their own threats, which we know about. But listen, this stage of the season, you see the results that happen around the place, and we've got to make sure that we do our job properly, and we perform as well as we can.
Perfect. Thanks, Kev.
Kevin, I feel I should have brought my sunglasses today. It's really, and it's exciting talking to the players. Tom was saying there's always got a giddy feeling around the squad. It's just, I suppose it's a good time as well to make this complete move to the new facility as well, with the running coming up.
Yeah, I think it's important we get here. When we make this at home, and as you say, the players who need that excitement of coming to a new facility. The gym's up and running. We're sorting out a few other bits around the place, but delighted to have everyone here. And when finish training, you haven't got to shoot off, so they can do extra. They can come out in the afternoon and do some extra work, and when we get the analysis suite up and running, we can do extra work with the players there. So in terms of as a football club, where it's taken us, it's huge.
It's amazing to think, really, since the takeover, how quickly things, I mean, this is about 9-10 months since that happened. It's amazing how quickly things have been happening here at Southend. Yeah,
and I think it's something I've reiterated right the way through, that things do take time, because so much has got to change, and putting the foundation in, and this is another huge step for me on the football side of things, on our own base, our own training ground, and some things you can't see what's going on behind the scenes, but when something like this happens, then you can see the work that is going on, and it doesn't all happen at once, of course, but things have changed an awful lot, and quickly, so we're grateful for everyone for doing that.
I suppose for yourself personally as well, having hit the milestone for Southend game involvements, was that a bit of an extra special feeling for you, seeing where both things are?
Yeah, I hadn't really think about stuff like that. I'll just on to the next game and prepare as well as we can for that. So I think when we, the facility we come to this, then it's a huge boost for everyone. And sometimes when you get changed somewhere and have to travel and train, it takes a little bit away, but so we're delighted with this, and make a base for ourselves, and personally pleased to see this finally happen.
Well, excited to be here. Of course, just looking at the football as well, obviously Sutton, James only come away with the point after a great performance. What's the biggest thing you've taken away from that game?
Yeah, I think it was frustration not to come away with the win, to take it right to the end, and obviously the thing, but listen, there's going to be twists and turns, as we said. We've got to keep our performances high, and we've got to keep attacking every game, and put points on the board. I keep saying, because there will be other clubs who knows what they're going to do, but we've got to get ourselves right. We keep saying that, and if we keep doing the basics right, and learn from one or two bits, then I'm sure we'll be fine.
On the team news side of things, obviously I think 3 players have been out at the moment, Colin and Adam and Charlie. How they do?
Yeah, good. Colin's joined in training this week, so we'll see how he responds towards the end of the week with that, and if he's ready to be involved. Adam Crowder's doing another week of training, so that gets him closer again. Charlie hasn't joined in yet, but he's getting closer day by day.
I mean, with Colin, I'm back to that game at Dagenham when he came off. He was really emotional coming up, and we all thought, I think that was end of season. Yeah. So you must be really pleased with how his recovery's accelerated. Yeah,
we thought he would struggle for the season, but he's doing well on his recovery. We don't want to get too far ahead because he's still got some certain steps to get through. So, pleased in terms of the time it's taken, and that gives us good competition in that area.
Well, Solihull Moors coming up at the weekend. Southend, a good record against Solihull over the last couple of years. How will you look to keep that up?
Yeah, listen, we want to keep that up, of course, and good result last year, but it's very different, and a good one early in the season, of course. So, listen, we crossed the white line on Saturday, and whoever we're playing, we've got to get ourselves right. That's the most important thing. Play with the right quality, the right intensity, and make it really difficult for our opponents. And I think, if we can do that, we can come out the right side.
I think back to the reverse fixture, the 4-2 win. I mean, Keenan had a big impact that day, and he's just continued to keep solidifying his place in that starting 11. How pleased you see to see his development across the season?
Yeah, pleased with Keenan, of course. I think we've got good competition in midfield, and with everyone fit, it's tough to pick who starts, but Keenan's done well. He scored in the reverse fixture early in the season. But I've got to say the level of performance from midfield and across the board in terms of competition, has been really good, and that's in training as well. Well, that's the most important thing, because you train right, you do things right, it hopefully comes out in games.
Yeah. And of course, the running 5 games to go. When you look at it on paper, it's you're Solihull, Braintree, Ebbsfleet, Wealdstone, then finishing with Gateshead. On paper, it seems that are below you, but we know it's different when it comes to it. What's the message you're giving to these guys going into this running?
No, listen, stay level-headed. Whoever you play, you see the results that are going on in the league. Always happens this stage of the season, and the pressure on the teams above us. They've got to win games because I think they know we're chasing. So the pressure's, if you want, not on us. We're going after teams ahead of us. So yeah, listen, one game at a time. We just said, each one's a cup final. Let's treat it like that, and see what happens.
I remember a couple of weeks ago you talked about feeling that sort of exciting pressure. I think it was that you're still feeling that going into this one.
Yeah, listen, you much rather things on these games. You want to be that little edge, if you want. Play with that edge, and where it really means something going into games. And at this stage of the season, you want that all the time. I'd hate for the season to peter out. So we're chasing. We're going after teams ahead of us, and that's always been the message.
I've got to finish by, Southend United has been making headlines all around the world with the amazing story of the fans picking up an American fan off the boat, bringing it to the Sutton game as well. And it just got me thinking on your perspective on this, what makes these Southend United fans so welcoming to do something like that, makes such an incredible gesture.
Yeah, when you read about it, it's a brilliant story, of course, and I can't say I'm surprised that they take him under his wing, and you look at what we take away. It's incredible, the numbers, and shows what we can do when we get success at the football club. And I'm sure we'll drag one or two more people from around the world with us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
How's James Golding progressing? It's good to see him in the away end of the weekend.
I don't know, you've probably seen him last year.
Yeah.
He's still back at Oxford, and going through rehab there. We touch base with him on a weekly basis just to see where he's at, but not coming back to us within the very near future, so we're just monitoring and be in touch with him.
And the porter cabins here, what they guys have got, gym, and we've got food facilities, what sort of is
so doing? You've got offices, gym facilities, the changing facilities, you've got a canteen area, and then there's a few more, the cabins at the back have got a kit room. There's going to be an analysis suite there as well, and a physio room and that, so everything we need, which is great to have. And on a day like today, there's not many better places to be. And
just to follow up, Warrington, looking forward to meeting Evan as well. It's sort of taking over the world, isn't it? Anything like it.
No, incredible, and that's the power of social media to a certain extent, isn't it? And I don't think if you'd asked him when he stepped on that boat what would have happened. It's it changed his world a little bit, I guess. Who knows? Can he play?
Yeah. Put him up front.
But, yeah. So no, listen. Obviously, these stories pop up now and then, and I bet he can't believe what's going on.